Said there'd be days like this. She never said how bad the nights could get. I entered the corner the same way I exit. I can't quit now, got too much invested. Obstacles in place in my face. Don't get greedy, maintain steady pace. Trying to spray my third eye with mace. I gotta keep my people close just in case. If you're gonna hold me down, cause I'm coming for the crown, I'm gonna stand my ground and be the best pound for pound. Cause I'm ready, ready. If there has to be a fight, then I'm ready. I'ma bring it anyway, I gotta swing it. The powers that be prove the evil that men do. Some people gotta fight just because they sent me. I want World War III on hunger. Keep my focus, be ready to rumble. Each month is a round and the fight of my life. It's me against the whole world, but I'm ready for the fight. If you're gonna hold me down, cause I'm coming for the crown, I'm gonna stand my ground and be the best pound for pound. If you're gonna hold me down, cause I'm coming for the crown, I'm gonna stand my ground and be the best pound for pound. Cause I'm ready, 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 cause I'm ready, 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 ready for the fight. Cause I'm ready, ready, ready for the fight. Cause I'm ready, ready, ready for the fight. Cause I'm ready.
Alright, what is up, fight fans? It is Kieran Rodriguez. I am here with a good show tonight. This is the very first ever boxing live stream I've ever done for my channel. Sorry that I haven't made any announcement for it. I figured I'd kind of like make it pretty more of a surprise and try to make it a little bit interesting tonight. I should have probably made an announcement for it, but I apologize. Tonight I'm just gonna cover some stories, and then I'm gonna try to see how to manage this like live call-in thing, because I really want to try to get some call-ins for all you decaps that will probably most likely be popping up tonight. But I'm going to try to at least cover stories, and then if I could at least get a caller. I'm using Free Conference Call HD, so that'll be like the software that I'm using to get people in. You know, just to give y'all a heads up, this is like the first time I've ever, you know, set this up, so I might have a little bit of trouble trying to get you on. But for tonight, we're just going to cover stories, and then for anybody that is willing to, you know, call in and talk we're going to do it like that. Alright, so let's get right to it, man. It's going to be a really, really good night of boxing, of what we've seen over the weekend, with a great victory with the man himself on the left of my display screen, Devin the Dream Haney, that got a huge victory off of defeating Yuriorkis Gamboa. This is a fight that I actually respected, and I did a very good job in actually predicting the fight out of how the fight would have gone down, which I should have put that on my channel, but I was talking to other people about it, and I really wanted to make a video on that, and I apologize. That should have been, put out for the channel. But either way, I'm going to be a little bit more consistent on that, and I'll try to get that out there for y'all. But let's get up with these fights, man. Luis Ortiz, he got a huge victory. I believe as of yesterday. Against that Alejandro Flores guy. That was a good win. Even though Flores, he kind of looked like he got hurt, which I did feel bad for him. But I mean, Luis Ortiz, he's Ortiz for a reason. So that's why they call him King Kong, and he's very powerful. And I think he just caught him with a good shot. I think it was a body shot, if I'm not mistaken. But he was able to defeat him, and that was a good win. But either way, let's get up with these stories, man. I got some good articles to cover in response to, I guess, Mike Tyson that responded to Deontay Wilder, I guess, claims that he would KO him in his prime. For those of you that love and watch Mike Tyson, which he has a good bout coming up on November 28th, if I'm not mistaken, against the almighty Roy Jones Jr. But let's cover this story. Mike Tyson responded to Deontay Wilder claiming he could KO him in his prime. Mike Tyson responded to Deontay Wilder's bold claim that he could have knocked out a prime version of the boxing legend. Former WBC champ Wilder, 35, previously bragged about the idea that he could have KO'd a younger Iron Mike. And, me and Tyson, Tyson said on TMZ back in 2018, me versus Tyson in 86, I'd knock the hell out of that guy. Told TMZ. That could have been Wilder, sorry. And then I guess there's another quote here. Listen, I've got to keep it real. I know people always go back to the old school and look at the new school, and there's no school where I'm not number one on earth. Speaking to BT Sport as part of round 12, Fury's resurrection, Tyson responded by saying he was unsure if the Bronze Bomber would have beat him, but the 54 boxing legend admired Wilder's tenacity over the claim that he made 2 years ago. And he said, I don't know whether I'd beat him, he said. I love the fact that he thinks that, because that's the way I would think as well. He's supposed to think that way. He is a heavyweight champion of the world, and that's something very special. When Tyson was initially asked back, in 2018, if Wilder could have beat him in a fight, the baddest man on the planet responded, I don't think so. Boxing legend Lennox Lewis previously slammed the ex-WBC champ, bragging about the idea that he could beat Tyson. I just heard Deontay said he would destroy young Mike Tyson, he said, and he said, my thoughts are that it's easy to talk until you actually get into the ring. I like Wilder, but he's never been in there with someone that's ferocious who truly wants to break his ribs with every punch. I don't see it. I love Wilder's confidence. You need that to sit atop the heavyweight division. He's hungry and shows up in probably best shape in division. but there's levels to it. He's still adding to his arsenal. My best advice to the entire crop of the young heavyweight champs is to focus on being or being the best of your era. Out of respect and reality, it's unprovable. Of course, people ask, but I found no need to speculate or compare myself to my idol, Ali, or any other of the past greats. History will decide your place among the all-time greats. So go out there, clean up the division, defend your title, reign supreme, and your work will speak for itself. And then Shannon Branks also blasted Wilder and argued that he wouldn't stand a chance against Mike Tyson. Alright. So, either way, this is something that I've kind of been hearing for quite a while. I think Deontay Wilder, he's a very, great person. And we're going to talk more about him tonight in regards to Mr. Cheater, Tyson Fury. He's a very good boxer. And I think he knows what he likes to do in the ring. But I think when it comes down to it, Wilder, he's that type of dude where you cannot really, break him down. He is to be considered one of the most hardest hitting punchers in the game. And I think that's what makes Wilder such a dangerous fighter, where he has such tenacity to his game where he doesn't really, make anything a pushover. He's a very tenacious fighter. He doesn't really make any mistakes other than for what he tries to, fix up. And I mean, even prior to the Fury first fight, his toughest test would have to be against Luis Ortiz, and I think Ortiz really gave Wilder like the bigger, harder hitting punches. And I was thinking Ortiz was going to give Wilder some issues, but Wilder, he just took those punches and he just walked right through them. And I'm just really surprised that Wilder actually came with tenacity, and he just absolutely mauled Deontay. Or Deontay mauled Luis Ortiz, sorry. But either way, that was a very fun fight. I think Deontay, if he were to fight Prime Mike, even though that I'm a Mike Tyson fan myself, but I think Deontay would have such a hard time trying to fight Mike. And Mike could give Deontay the huge issues on the inside, but I think when it comes down to it, Deontay would bring a 50-50 to Mike Tyson. That's just how I see it. I think Deontay's just that type of guy, and it makes perfect sense why he would do something like that, to make the claim that Deontay could beat Mike Tyson in his prime. And it's good to say that, and I really wish a fight like that would have happened back in the day. So I don't know if y'all could fully connect to the stream, but just make sure everything is correct on your end, and I think everything should be fine on my end. But yeah, let's get right to it, man, with the next story. Let's see. Alright, give me 1 second. Hold on. Alright, yep, here we go. Alright, so here we go. We got Mr. Luis Ortiz that came out and said boxer, or like more so, he wants to fight Andy Ruiz Jr. next. So boxer who picked apart Deontay Wilder for 7 straight rounds, which I don't even know how they even try to say that. But yeah, 7 straight rounds, wants to fight Andy Ruiz Jr. next. Here we go. So King Kong Luis Ortiz will return to the heavyweight action against Alexander Flores on November 7th in a main event clash. However, he's already cited some big matchups ahead for himself, coming off from a horrific KO loss against Deontay Wilder in 2019. The 41-year-old still wants to dance against the best inside the ring. That said, he is just 1 or 2 victories away from getting back into the title race. While his upcoming fight will bring him a step closer to the goal, Ortiz wants to have a crack at Andy Ruiz Jr. He has recently challenged Ruiz to fight him inside the ring. Meanwhile, Andy Ruiz is also yet to be booked since losing to Anthony Joshua. Thus, the former title challengers can get back to the heavyweight relevancy by locking horns against each other. Ortiz connected with FightHype.com to talk about several ongoing scenarios of his boxing journey. When asked some of his future opponents, King Kong comfortably picked Andy Ruiz Jr. over everyone. And right here he said, talking about it via an interpreter, said, "I want to fight the best. If that could happen, then I want Andy Ruiz, who was the best at one point not too long ago by beating Anthony Joshua." He added, Andy was supposed to fight on the same card as well, and maybe the winners of tonight were going to fight each other, but that's what potentially was being built up to. Andy didn't participate, so yeah, Andy Ruiz is the fight that I want, and it's one that's most attainable. It's the one that could probably really happen without too much back and forth, and that would be great. I think that would be a great fight. Since Ruiz Jr. has also teased his return by the end of 2020 or early 2021, he can warm up against Ortiz before challenging his former foe, Anthony Joshua. That said, the heavyweight roster can have several alluring matchups ahead. However, none of them are confirmed. None of them are confirmed by now. What do you make of Luis Ortiz call out? Okay, so either or, I think this is a very, very crazy fight that would definitely be in the works, because Andy Ruiz, I love Andy, but I just don't see Andy making this big underdog comeback in the heavyweight division. I think from his last fight with Joshua, he came in extremely overweight. I think like 280 pounds or some shit. But yo, this man, he was so big. Joshua came in, at least like 20 to 50 pounds lighter than him. I think at like 215 or 220. But Joshua, he just he outboxed Andy Ruiz. And Ruiz, he had like no answer for Anthony Joshua. So, if Ruiz can make a good comeback against Luis Ortiz, this would be a huge win for either man to prove themselves in the ring. And it would be really nice to see what potential these guys can bring to the heavyweight division. Because all you really need is like 1 or 2 good fights in the boxing rankings, and then you start climbing pretty fast. So either way, this is something that has a lot of traction that could really bring a lot of noise to a lot of names that are trying to build up in boxing. But something tells me that Andy Ruiz, if he is to fight Luis Ortiz, a guy that stays in shape all year round, where boxing is not a sport where you just go back out, party, do what you want to do, and then you could just magically be good in the ring. No, you have to be on your A game when you play boxing. Boxing is a sport where people have died in the ring. 2 people as of last year, Maxim Dadashev and Patrick Day, and I don't know who else has died as of 2020, but still, one is bad enough. And if you are not, ready to fight a guy that's willing to knock your head off, then it's basically night for you. You're not going to come back up, all nice and dandy and make yourself into, a better fighter. But I think Andy already knows that. He doesn't need to be told that he needs to work on his fundamentals. He needs to work on whatever boxing that he's not ready to bring himself to. Like, Andy is a great fighter. He's not a pushover, but let's just keep it real. Andy Ruiz is a very well talented fighter, and I think that's what makes him into that type of individual where he was the apple cart upsetter of beating Joshua, and now with him coming back into the ring, what is there to expect out of him later on throughout those years? And I think right now this is a very good fight for Andy to prove his worth. But, what do you all think? Do you think Andy Ruiz should take a fight like Luis Ortiz? Because this is the man that has been avoided by other fighters. Let me tell you the 3 fights that Luis Ortiz could have easily got, but nobody wanted to fight him. Number 1 was, I don't even know who to say for number 1, but let's just say Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury doesn't want any smoke with Luis Ortiz. Because you want to know why? Luis Ortiz fought Dave Allen in the UK, I believe. And Tyson Fury, I think prior to that, was trying to, fight, I think, like, Christian Hammer or something. This is, like, the fight before fighting Klitschko for the title. And then this is, like, before he even got into, the Yukata thing where he got heavily investigated, and he was probably going to get prosecuted if he had been fully exposed for who he was, and he is, but he relinquished his license to flee to the U.S. and not be held accountable. But this man literally has been avoided by Tyson Fury because he was going to be next in line in fighting Klitschko, and I can actually show you the box rec of what he's been fighting with his opposition, of how this man has always been avoided and nobody don't want to smoke with him. I can show it to you right here. Let's see. I know that he fought Dave Allen, but right here. Sorry, I apologize. I should always have this ready, but yeah, Dave Allen right here. This is 2 fights before he fought Deontay Wilder. Oh, and not to mention, he fought Malik Scott. Where was Malik Scott before he even came closing into Deontay Wilder? Oh no, 2 years ago he fought Wilder, and then the year before that he fought Derek Chisora for the WBO International Heavyweight title, which he got rocked. But Ortiz dominated him. Like, he dominated Malik Scott. And good enough, he got the WBA Intercontinental title. But, sorry. But, when we look at Tyson Fury, at his box rec, regarding back to 2016. Hold on. We see that in 2016, he was actually never to be shown. Oh, let's see. Because prior to 2016, when Luis Ortiz was about to make his way either to AJ or Wilder, when he was about to fight Klitschko for his title bout, which he cheated against him, and he also denied giving Klitschko a rematch after he beat Klitschko. and then he got caught with like all the drugs and cheating and all that crap. He had a 2-year layoff, or no, a 3-year layoff, and this is who Fury fought. Sefer Seferi, RTD, TKO. Who are you? Like some weird ass from Switzerland, and then Francisco Panienta. So 2 horrible tune-ups. But why not fight Luis Ortiz? Oh, wait a minute. Because you knew that nobody didn't want to fight you. And you could have fought Luis Ortiz, but you decided not to. Because you, my friend, were getting exposed. You cheated against Christian Hammer. You cheated against Derek Chisora. You definitely cheated against Steve Cunningham because he was beating your ass for a good amount of rounds, which I thought Steve could have easily won the fight, but he was coming all the way from cruiserweight to heavyweight. But no, prior to Klitschko, Tyson Fury was being caught with all these cheating mechanisms, and then once he finally got caught by Yukata with his drug issues that he's been doing, so that way he can like enhance his physicality, so he can start cheating in fights. Yeah, that was absolutely retarded, and it was terrible. How the hell did you get the opportunity to have Wilder give you the fight, or give you the opportunity to fight him when you came off of a 3-year layoff after being exposed for cheating against Klitschko? And you never even gave Klitschko the immediate rematch clause, which Klitschko, I don't understand why he didn't, exercise that. He should have easily gotten that exercise, rematch, and that would have been a lot better for Klitschko to take advantage of that, and then, everything would have been fine. But, Klitschko, he's a beast. I like him. He's had some really good wins. Fought up against some very good names. David Haye, Samuel Peter. KO'd Eddie Chambers. Sadly, I thought Eddie Chambers could have easily beat him, but he caught him in a really, really good KO fashion. Hasim Rahman, or Rahman, like everybody calls him Rahman. But yeah, TKO'd him in 7. Biggest win that he's ever had to have been against Povetkin. That was a big ass win. Pulev, Brian Jennings, and his biggest loss had to have been Corey Sanders. Love that guy. If you guys know anything about Corey, he is the best. That's why they call him the sniper. RIP to Corey. But either way, Tyson Fury compared to Luis Ortiz, his opposition has been so weak. Who are these guys? TKO, RTD, TKO, points. Like this guy, I guarantee you, if we go to any of these fights, he has not dominated these guys without any form of cheating. If you were to investigate every single fight that he's been in and found out that he's done some form of tampering or some form of cheating, I guarantee you Fury would be caught red-handed. But either way, but there's really no need for me to get so deep into that until we head into the last article. Then I'm going to call it a night. Then I got to focus on my own stuff. But either way, yeah, I just want to review all these other names that he's fought. But honestly, he hasn't really fought anybody good. He's really fought a lot of crappy no names, because if we look into the BoxRec rankings, we got stupid Fury that shouldn't even be number 1. But here's some other good names that Fury could have fought if he claims to say that he is of the best for heavyweight. He could fight Michael Hunter. He could fight Andy Ruiz. He could fight Alexander Povetkin. He could fight Oscar Rivas, a very good heavyweight. Charles Martin, that would be a good fight. Daniel Dubois, Joseph Parker, Tony Yoka, Luis Ortiz, Adam Konopsky, Dominic Breazeale, if he's ever planning to get back into the heavyweight talk. Mira Agasiev, very good fight. F.A. Ajaba, very good fight. Filip Hrgović, very tough fight and very good fight. Hughie Fury, which, you know, like we all know that you know, Fury would probably never fight any of his, you know, blood related relatives, but either way, it's just like Fury is just dissing everybody. He is not the type of guy that wants to give anybody any opposition or any possibility of giving them the opportunity to be at that level. But even for any other heavyweights that you guys don't know, check out Jermaine Franklin, very good fighter. Frank Sanchez had a huge knockout win over Juwan Howard or something. Beat a guy named Howard. Very good fight. Even though that it was a knockout, that will be very interesting to see what he will produce in the future. I mean, all these other guys aren't probably that good. I mean, all like Otto Wallen. You know, I don't have anything against him, but he's not that good. Johan Duhaupas, he was really good back then when he was fighting, you know, Wilder and all those guys. Either way, heavyweight division's a little bit weak, but it doesn't really matter because, you know, we already have top rising prospects or top rising contenders like Luis Ortiz, Frank Sanchez, and American contenders with Jermaine Franklin, you know, Jared Anderson, and I think that's it. I'm not too sure. Oh yeah, and Andy Ruiz and Michael Hunter. But either way, this is very interesting, and this will definitely make the heavyweight division very, very tough to compete once either Fury or Wilder gets out of the picture. But I think honestly, yeah, Fury's definitely going to get exposed, and he's already lost a lot of respect. But either way, Luis Ortiz versus Andy Ruiz would be a very fun fight. I think either way, it would definitely make a lot of noise for the boxing community. So either way, that would be very fun. All right, let's get on with the last story. Boxer who... No. Alright, right here from Boxing Scene. All the links are in the description, so for any of you guys that complain, it will be right there. So, Tyson Fury came out in silence and said, I think Deontay Wilder has lost his marbles. AKA, I believe Deontay Wilder has found out what I've done to him. So now I'm going to character assassinate Deontay Wilder by calling him crazy. WBC heavyweight champion Tyson Fury believes Deontay Wilder has lost his mind after the once beaten puncher made several allegations regarding their rematch. Oh my god, back in February, Fury stopped Wilder in 7 rounds to capture the WBC title at the MGM Grand. Wilder remained silent for several months, but last weekend Wilder finally broke his silence with a video on social media and also conducted a few interviews. Wilder made claims that Fury had loaded gloves for the Fury fight with egg weights. He also claimed that the former trainer Mark Breland was working as a double agent and may have spiked his water. There were also statements made that referee Kenny Bayless was intoxicated during the match. Yeah, definitely wasn't surprising. Fury, who is no stranger to making controversial comments, has no idea what's going on in Wilder's head. I think he has lost his marbles, Fury told TalkSport. First of all, it was the suit. Wow. Then it was a bicep injury. Then his trainer was on our team when the referee was against him. Then I had weight in my gloves. Now someone spiked his water. It's one of those things, isn't it? After suffering the first defeat of his career, Wilder exercised an immediate rematch clause. The fight was scheduled for July 18th and then pushed back due to coronavirus, blah blah blah, pandemic. As far as Fury and his handlers are concerned, the rematch clause has expired. And they plan to make a voluntary defense. on December 5th. The original date was on July 18th. January, February, March. Okay, February, March, April, June, July. Are you stupid? That is like 4 months of fucking recovery. Boxing fans, if you're watching this, do you think Wilder, with all this damage that he's been decimated by Fury with his cheating antics, do you think 4 months of recovery for a July 18th trilogy rematch was going to happen? No! Okay, let's finish this before I start going crazy. The original date was July 18th, Fury said. That didn't happen because he had an injury, so it got put back 3 months to October. Then that didn't happen because they were trying to get a venue. And then they had 3 dates in December, 5th, 12th, 19th, which I agreed to all of them. And obviously that didn't happen. So I'm not going to wait around forever. Dude, wow. Fury, you are a pathological liar. But let me tell you something. Fury, he's good at lying. I'll give him that. He can definitely lie, but guess what? Like what Aki TV says, shout out to him for my show, there are 3 things that comes out in life. The sun, the moon, and the truth. The truth is always immutable and always undefeated in any form of philosophy or philosophical conversation. When the truth is exercised, the other side is nothing but invalid ignorance. That's true. Or, it's nothing but lies. See, now, what Fury has done is that he's made it so easy to come up with all these euphemisms to try to let the media feel psychologically okay with accepting that he did not cheat and he did everything clean. He never brought up the fact that any of his team members went up to the camera, plugged everything off for him to not be somehow being caught with any with any red flags to with any red flags to not be caught cheating within that time span when him and his team was working together to get his gloves ready and get himself ready for the fight. I say that sarcastically, knowing that they were definitely getting him ready to cheat, and he's gonna come out there and beat Wilder up as if he's Superman or something. And after he did that, he somehow doesn't even talk to the media, and he doesn't even address Wilder's health. He doesn't even feel bad about him. He does not feel bad about Wilder. You realize that this douchebag literally had no remorse for Wilder, and he was fighting dirty the whole damn fight. And here's another thing. Mauricio Suleiman claimed to say that he was in both men's locker rooms at the same time. Is this guy Goku or something? Are we playing Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3? Because I'm pretty sure he has never been in any realistic life lesson to understand that you cannot be in anybody's vicinity at the same time. That goes against all the laws of physics and all principles of life. But either way, no, that's a lie, because Wilder's team, according to Tay Jones, pretty much came out and said that Mauricio Suleiman was not at his locker room to make sure that the gloves that were being used were signed off, and I don't think that the commission even properly reviewed anyone's gloves to say that okay, both fighters are heavily investigated, the fight is clean, and we got ourselves a fair fight. But no, Mauricio Suleiman wasn't there. And then on top of that, Fury had a lot of weird. How should I say? He had his gloves positioned in a way where they didn't look right, and it looked absolutely tampered. Where every time when he hit Wilder, his knuckles were showing. I think in either the right or left glove. I want to say both of them, but it was most likely the right glove. Fury obviously did not have any means to even hide it, and even if he were to hide it, it would have been complete disaster. Fury, he obviously thinks that he could just get away with this type of crap, and he's not really making himself any better. He's just making himself worse for the future. And good enough that Wilder, he finally broke his silence. He did a very good job in discussing in the video about how Deontay Wilder got cheated on in both fights. And funny enough, how Fury, he doesn't explain in this for this article where he got interviewed, that he ever explained how Deontay Wilder's skull got dented. And Deontay Wilder, he has evidence. He has his doctor that backs that up. And good enough, I think that's going to be enough for Deontay Wilder to win his court case against Fury. And he'll most likely get Fury put in prison. I think that's the best way to even do that. Definitely sue the living shit out of everyone. Sue Mauricio Suleiman, Tyson Fury, Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, everyone that has been included to make this horrible, rocky murder film of destruction. Because Tyson Fury is not going to walk as a free man if people are continuing to step up to expose him. But Tyson Fury obviously has that type of agenda to think that he can get away with it. And as much as people want to use, I guess, like identity politics into boxing, where they say like boxing is all about, people's, racial skin color of those who are on the coincidentalists or the black murderous row fighters like Deontay Wilder versus hopeless fighters that are the quote unquote white, white supremacy driven fighters like Tyson Fury, or fighters that are on the upper echelon for being protected politically in the sport. And I just call it political protectionism because that's really what the sport, is corrupted into. Boxing has always been politically, interfered with, state aggression to make the sport a lot worse. And maybe that's why people don't like the results that comes out of the boxing ring, because that's really what makes boxing horrible, where people don't want to watch boxing when people start to cheat. And I think that's what makes boxing horrible. People don't ever tend to realize that, but that the sport is bad because people don't speak up. Do you ever see LeBron James or his Lakers do anything stupid where, that the Lakers team decided to be like, hey, you know what? Let's just tamper and spike, let the other team's water and their, physical equipment. So that way, before their game even starts, everyone gets sick and dies because, we don't want to have any better competition facing us. So that way we could easily win our we could easily win our game, and we could easily make things a lot more difficult for other teams, and then we could just basically just do whatever we want to avoid our competition, and then it's our monopoly in the NBA. Well, the reason why you don't see that is because the NBA is a very super strict, well organized business. Granted, some people say that that's due to the, benefit of what the state coming in to basically federalize the commission board through the basketball association, or through the NBA, where It has a federalized, basketball commission where everybody has to be tested for drugs and screened properly to make sure that there's no cheating in basketball. There's no, cheating mechanisms where the referees are biased, where they choose, certain teams to lead over other teams, and certain players to not be in foul trouble with other players. But I would say that's due to the fans speaking up, not due to the state interfering with that market to make it harder for people to actually enjoy the games or matches of how players perform. But either way, when it comes to boxing, that is heavily regulated by government interference. Same thing with basketball, but a little bit less, economically, brutal, because people are, competing in a sport where you're just putting the ball into the hoop and you get paid a lot of money for it, knowing that there's a higher supply and wealth and the demand is super high in basketball, which boxing is the same way, but the supply of providing the money for the fights and having everyone come together is like the hardest part in boxing, to make it more difficult for people to organize in the sport. Which I think what boxing needs is that boxing really needs to have, how should I say, it needs to have maybe free market driven unions to protect fighters, so that way every fighter is, every fighter is covered in their fights with having health insurance, having a retirement fund planned, and fighters also have investors that invest into them, so that way when you're being sponsored, you're also invested into the fights too, so that way you make extra money based on what businesses put bets on you, and maybe if you win, then you get more money and they get money. But I think I think boxing should just be similar to the NBA in a way, where I would believe in the pure market anarchy position, where there's way more competition to establish tighter investigations on fights. There's fight leagues, so that way fighters aren't avoiding other fighters. When you join a fight league, let's just say we just call it Boxing World Fight League, you fight in that fight league, and you can either be a free agent or be a member within the fight league, but you're still fighting other fighters from different promotional companies or other fight leagues. So that way you can compete at a world level, where you have to fight the best if you want to be ranked in boxing. But if you're not fighting the best, then you're going to remain unranked until you fight the best to push yourself up in the rankings. And that's another problem in boxing, because there would be way more people fighting in boxing if boxing wasn't so heavily regulated and hard for fighters to just get their fights in. With all these crazy restrictions where fighters have to be suspended if they're caught with drugs and blah blah blah. Honestly, if a fighter is caught with drugs and they do some crazy stuff, then yeah, the fighter shouldn't be fighting anytime soon, and then the fighter needs to pay fines to the commissions or whoever that is running the background screening for the fighters, so that way but there's no scandalous cheating that's going to happen in the sport. And I think that's what puts a black eye on boxing, where you have people like Deontay Wilder that come out in true consistency with his words to say that he got cheated on and he got played by another guy like Tyson Fury, where he cheated, and there is no way Tyson Fury had beat one of the hardest hitting punchers in the sport of boxing, where he somehow loses to Tyson Fury, and then there's somehow no way for Tyson Fury to not cheat in a fight when he's not even the hardest hitting puncher in boxing. He doesn't even have power. But to even finalize this, other fighters have exposed Tyson Fury for his punching power, he's very pillow-fisted, but the best example I can give to you is one of his past sparring partners, Nicholas Asbury, where he pretty much exposed Tyson Fury for multiple occasions of him trying to tamper his gloves so that way he can gain his confidence in hurting his sparring partners so he can get away with cheating in his actual fights. And this is something that Tyson Fury has perfected for years in the making, and Nicholas Asbury has kind of done his thing to expose Fury, and Fury has pretty much made himself look like a loser in that regard by trying to say to the media that Nicholas Asbury was once a good partner to him in training, but then turns back around and calls Nicholas Asbury, a coward, and I think maybe like a scumbag. I'm not too sure, but he was trying to say bad things about Nicholas, and then once he got before he said bad things about Nicholas, he was saying nice things about him, but then when Nicholas exposed him for him cheating and sparring, then he calls Nicholas all these crazy names and trying to make himself look bad, knowing that Fury is a cheater and he doesn't have any respect for anyone's talents in the ring, and he will never fight at an equal playing field for him to at least last in the ring with upper echelon talent. So either way, Tyson Fury didn't have any reason to come in with any intentions to be fair against Deontay Wilder. So either way, for other fighters, I'm sure that's what they're doing now to make their careers easier, so that way they don't have to scrap it out with tougher competition that actually knows how to box and knows how to give fighters problems. But either way, Tyson Fury, he's not the fighter that everyone says he is made out to be. But I think when we take a look at what he's been doing in the past, it speaks for itself. So either way, that's pretty much what I have to say. That's what I wanted to cover for tonight's episode. I will be linking out my channel to other social media so that way we could have at least some callers call in. But I will call it a night for this show. I really do appreciate you guys watching. But for any of you that are decaps, dumb casual ass fans of boxing that don't know shit about boxing, salute to Roger Mayweather. May he rest in peace. But yeah, either way, to all you decaps that talk all the smack in the comment section on everyone's channel, please call in. I have the number in the description. I find it weird how I never got a call, even though that I do have a small channel, but either way, it doesn't matter to me. So please keep me posted with any updates on any stories that I can cover for the next show, and yeah, I will see y'all later. And I really appreciate you guys listening to this show. So yeah, this is Kieran Rodriguez. I am signing out, and have a good night. Bye.